A film once scorned as trash, slammed with a 0-star rating by America's most powerful critic. Yet it rose to become a comedy monument spawning a franchise that lasted decades. That is the unbelievable comeback story of Police Academy 1984, where misfits and slackers donned police uniforms and triggered a series of mishaps that left audiences laughing until they cried.
Could I speak to
But
you outside
few
for
know
a
that
second?
behind the laughter lie countless shocking secrets that even die-hard fans have never heard. At one point, the film crew was nearly caught in a real shootout right in the middle of the set. Even more, the original script was so dark, crude and sleazy that no one dared touch it until the director stepped in to cleanse it and save the entire project. And all of that is just the prelude to the 15 most bizarre truths about Police Academy. Don't blink, because this video will make you never see the film the same way again. 1. Tony Hawk was cut just because puberty made him grow too tall too fast.
This isn't skateboarding, Sergeant. This is carrying skateboard. This is skateboarding.
In 1987, when Police Academy 4 Citizens on Patrol was gearing up for release, the film crew wanted to capitalise on the skateboarding craze sweeping American youth. They invited Tony Hawk, then only 17, and already famous in the skateboarding community, to join as a stunt double for actor David Spade in high-risk skateboarding scenes. At first glance, it seemed like a golden opportunity for Tony, but fate played a cruel trick at the worst moment. Hawk had just gone through puberty with his height shooting up in just a few months. During the action scenes, the footage immediately exposed the mismatch Tony's overly tall frame made the scenes inconsistent with David Spade's character. The lack of visual continuity forced the crew to make a cold decision: replace Tony with another stunt performer even though he had prepared for the role. As a result, Tony Hawk only appeared briefly as an unnamed skateboarder, but he still received the stunt actor's pay for dangerous scenes. And surprisingly, this wasn't the only time the Police Academy behind the scenes shocked everyone. 2. A scene turned into a real battlefield in Moscow. You know, Police Academy is a comedy series about bumbling, clumsy rookie cops who always end up in laughably absurd situations. But did you know that at one point the film crew itself nearly experienced a scene that was anything but funny? In one scene, Michael Winslow, the actor famous for mimicking thousands of sounds with just his mouth, was using a wireless microphone to perform a comedic bit. But ironically, the signal from his microphone accidentally broadcast on a military frequency. Just seconds later, the Russian security forces' communication system picked up chaotic sounds: fake machine gun fire, the roar of helicopter blades mixed with shrill screams created by Winslow himself. Immediately, guards in the area thought a group of spies was sending coded signals. An armed security team was dispatched and armoured vehicles appeared at the edge of the square. Witnesses recounted that within minutes, the entire area around the film crew was sealed off as if in a real combat drill. The film crew was stunned. Some young actors panicked and ran into trailers locking the doors. Camera operators scrambled to protect equipment while the director frantically explained to security officers through an interpreter. Amid the chaos, Winslow realised that his funny sounds were being mistaken for military signals. Fortunately, after nearly half an hour of tension, the situation was resolved. A senior officer was called to verify, and they finally accepted that it was just a foreign film crew shooting a movie. And there was an actor so drunk that the director himself had to save him. 3. Lead actor. Drunk out of his mind, director had to jump in to save the day. In a memorable scene from Police Academy, the character Hightower is learning to drive and suddenly encounters an aggressive driver. Per the script, the driver would step out, yell, and try to start a fight, creating a dramatic moment for Hightower to shine. But right before filming, the crew was shocked to find the actor playing the driver passed out in his trailer, too drunk to stand. The entire shooting schedule was at risk, as halting would disrupt production heavily. Amid the panic to find a solution, director Hugh Wilson made a surprising decision. He would put on the costume step onto the set and play the angry driver himself. That scene became one of Hollywood's rare, reluctant cameos. And surprisingly, it wasn't just the director who had to sacrifice. Even the character Hooks had a dramatic detail ruthlessly cut. 4. Hook's stunning transformation scene was mercilessly cut from the film.
Patience? What about me, sir? Don't I get a car? What about me, sir? Don't I get a car?
Are you impressed by the character? Hooks, the petite cadet who speaks softly and is often overshadowed by her peers. In fact, the original script intended her journey to be far more vivid and dramatic. Marion Ramsey was made to wear a fat suit, making Hooks appear self-conscious and clumsy from her first day at the academy. Per the script at the graduation scene, she would shed the heavy suit, revealing a slender figure and confident gaze, a symbolic transformation of her entire growth arc. Sadly, during post-production, the scene was cut to shorten the runtime. As a result, audiences never got to see Hooks' stunning makeover. But if Hooks' change was hidden in the editing room, a face completely absent from the original script unexpectedly stepped into the spotlight and became a legend. 5. Sound Wizard. Winslow appeared thanks to a jazz show.
God damn it, stop that!
In the original Police Academy script, there was no character named Larvell Jones. But fate intervened in an unexpected way. One evening, the film's casting director attended a Count Basie jazz performance where a young artist named Michael Winslow took the stage. In just a few minutes, Winslow left the audience stunned. He could produce any sound with his mouth, from gunshots to sirens, jet engines to electronic effects. Immediately, an idea sparked in the producer's mind. Why not write a role specifically to utilize this living sound treasure? Thus, the character Larvell Jones was born. And Winslow went from a stage performer to a screen star. Police Academy became his launchpad, earning him the nickname the Man with 10,000 Sounds throughout his career. From there, the journey to select the main faces for the film began with plenty of surprises. 6. Bruce Willis. Michael Keaton and even Tom Hanks almost became Mahoney.
What in the hell are you doing?
Meeting women, sir.
Your name?
Mahoney, sir.
When the Police Academy script was ready for production, the entire crew knew one thing. The role of Mahoney would be the soul of the film. He had to be cunning, mischievous, yet charming enough for audiences to laugh with not at. Thus, the search for the actor to play him became a golden casting journey that, looking back today, is astonishing. The candidate list at the time was truly a dream lineup. Michael Keaton was approached first, but he declined due to a scheduling conflict with another project. Bruce Willis, then not yet a superstar, also auditioned, but his performance was deemed stiff and lacking comedic flair. Tom Hanks, a rapidly rising star in romantic comedies, was also considered. Judge Reinhold, known for teen films at the time, was on the list too. Some behind-the-scenes records even reveal that the studio initially leaned toward Tom Hanks, seen as the quintessential, friendly, likable American. But negotiations fell through due to his packed schedule. In the end, the turning point came when Steve Guttenberg walked into the audition room. He didn't just come to audition. He brought a personal keepsake, his father's real police uniform. When Guttenberg put on the uniform, the entire atmosphere seemed to shift. The producers saw in him the confidence, natural mischief, and authenticity they were seeking. That small detail turned an ordinary audition into a defining moment. Guttenberg landed the role of Mahoney, and the rest became history. This role not only shaped the film's comedic soul, but also tied Guttenberg's name to one of the most iconic comedy characters of the 80s. 7. From astronaut film to police comedy. How a crazy idea was born. You might not believe it, but the inspiration for one of the most famous comedy series of the 80s came from an astronaut film. In 1983, while working on The Right Stuff, producer Paul Maslansky stumbled upon a strange sight in San Francisco. On the street, he saw a group of police cadets training. But they weren't the typical recruits. They came in all shapes, some obese, some scrawny, and even some quite elderly. Upon inquiry, he learned this was part of an experimental policy allowing any ordinary citizen to apply to become a police officer, regardless of appearance or background. Of course, most were later eliminated. Maslansky suddenly had a wild idea: what if these untrusted people were actually trained and became cops? And so the seed of Police Academy was planted, growing into a pop culture phenomenon. But that was only part of it. The script was the real key, and few know it was once so crude it had to be cleaned up entirely. 8. Director cleaned the script, turning a crude film into near art. The 80s were the golden era of raunchy comedies with hits like Animal House or Caddyshack. When Police Academy was in the script stage, it was no different, filled with vulgar gags, cheap sex scenes, and even parts deemed barely releasable. But fortunately for the film director Hugh Wilson, a TV veteran wouldn't accept that. He saw potential in the story's framework, but knew that keeping the crude style would make Police Academy just another forgettable lowbrow comedy. Wilson got to work minimizing vulgar elements, adding smarter details, and even using art house-style lighting and framing to make some scenes artistic rather than crude. This cleanup transformed Police Academy from a risky project into a film clean enough to win over mainstream audiences. This behind-the-scenes story becomes even more fascinating when you learn that the Police Academy setting was nothing like its name. 9. The Police Academy was actually a mental hospital. Did you assume while watching that the main setting was filmed at a police training facility? In reality, all interior and exterior scenes were shot at a mental hospital in Toronto, Canada. The building, with its grand architecture, long hallways, and functional rooms, was transformed into the Police Academy on screen. After filming wrapped, it was renovated into a university. Even today, many students are shocked to learn their campus was once the site of one of the 80s most famous comedies. Some die-hard Police Academy fans even visit to take photos recreating iconic scenes, unaware that the place was originally a mental hospital. And it's not just the setting that's odd, even the voice of a familiar character hides a secret few know. 10. Hook's voice was actually a Michael Jackson parody.
I'm sorry, I really am.
Sorry, you dumb fat chickaboo!
Are you like me, chuckling yet puzzled by Hook's high-pitched, timid voice? It feels out of place for a police cadet, but that's exactly what makes Hook stand out. The secret lies in real life. Actress Marion Ramsey once met Michael Jackson and was struck by his soft, high-pitched, almost melodic speech. Ramsey decided to parody that voice to build Hook's character, turning a weakness into a defining trait. When the film premiered, some sharp-eyed viewers noticed Hook's was like a Michael Jackson parody hidden in Police Academy's chaotic world. Thankfully, audiences loved it rather than rejecting it. And of course, it's not just the voice that's unique, even the film's promotional posters have a fascinating story. 11. The poster wasn't just beautiful, it was crafted by a Hollywood wizard. If you've ever admired the iconic posters of Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, or Blade Runner, you're indirectly familiar with Drew Struzan, Hollywood's master of iconic imagery. Few realize he also created the Police Academy poster. With his detailed, vibrant, hand-drawn style, Struzan turned a silly comedy into a striking, majestic product that piqued audiences' curiosity. In some countries, distributors even altered the poster, adding a pair of seductive female legs to the logo to make it feel raunchier, mimicking trends like Porky's. A beautiful poster can shape first impressions, and in this case, it helped make Police Academy a hit franchise. But it's not just the poster. Even the film's music hides an intriguing paradox, both majestic and absurd. 12. Majestic music, backing absurd antics. If you pay attention, you'll notice Police Academy's score isn't comedic at all. On the contrary, composer Robert Folk crafted a grand, heroic soundtrack evoking solemn police dramas. Each note cloaks the film in dignity, suggesting a story of duty, honor, and responsibility. Yet this contrast creates a unique comedic effect. As the triumphant music swells, viewers see clumsy, bumbling cadets wreaking havoc on training grounds and city streets. This majestic meets absurd paradox makes Folk's score a perfect complement to the laughter. After this success, Robert Folk was tapped to score other comedies, including Ace Ventura. When Nature Calls, further proving his knack for blending seriousness with silliness. And if the music made audiences laugh, the critics' response nearly sank the film from day one. 13. Roger Ebert, coldly, 0.4 stars not worth watching for adults. In 1984, Police Academy hit theatres and immediately sparked controversy. Critics almost unanimously trashed it as cheap and low quality. Among them, Roger Ebert. America's most influential critic went further, giving it 4 stars. In his review, Ebert called the film awful not for adults and said, audiences wasting money on tickets were throwing it away. For many films, such a verdict would kill them in their first week. But Police Academy defied the odds. It debuted at number 1 at the US box office, grossing nearly $50 million, a massive sum at the time. In West Germany, it exploded into a phenomenon, proving critics and audiences sometimes live in different worlds. And that success even led to shameless copying in other countries. 14. Blatant rip-off. Recruits in Canada, no attempt to hide it. Police Academy's massive success naturally made other filmmakers covet its formula. Just 2 years later, in 1986, Canada released Recruits, considered the most blatant copy-paste of the 80s. The plot revolved around a quirky group joining a police academy filled with absurd antics, and ridiculous situations sound familiar. Even the promotional poster mimicked Police Academy's style with crowded, goofy character poses. The copying was so obvious that audiences and critics mocked Recruits as a bargain bin Police Academy. Despite minor success at home, Recruits quickly faded into obscurity, remembered only as one of cinema's most shameless knockoffs. While others merely imitated Police Academy itself, grew into an empire with spin-offs, and some spectacular failures. 15. From comedy to toy empire, ending in a disastrous sitcom. From a film trashed by critics, Police Academy quietly built a lasting franchise. It spanned 7 films, a Saturday morning cartoon for kids, widely sold action figure toys, and even comic books. The peak seemed unstoppable until producers tried bringing the brand to television. In the late 90s, the Police Academy sitcom launched with hopes of continuing the success. But it was a disaster. Bland scripts, an unappealing cast, and audiences turned away. Soon after, the sitcom was cancelled mercilessly and faded into oblivion. Today, even many die-hard fans don't know it existed. A somewhat sad end, but it reflects the chaotic and surprising essence tied to Police Academy from day one. Despite relentless critical bashing, Police Academy proved its astonishing appeal, becoming one of the 80s iconic comedy series. From absurd situations and eccentric characters to unbelievable behind-the-scenes secrets, The film left a unique mark on audiences. Over 30 years later, the laughter Police Academy brings remains timeless. And it's these strange behind-the-scenes stories that make this series so special. If you found these secrets fascinating, don't forget to hit like, share with friends, and especially subscribe to the channel to catch the next episodes, where we'll continue exploring more bizarre, surprising, and thrilling behind-the-scenes stories from the world of cinema.